Hello and welcome to the show. Today we are trying another slight different variation on the kind of FailRace versus the community format. I am not actually going to be running in the races. I am going to be acting as a live commentator. Fingers crossed this will all work. It's always a little bit scary when you try this. Yeah, I'm going to be live commentating over the mayhem that goes on. Not really used these tools before. This first one might not make it into a video if it is terrible, because I've got to try and figure out and press all of the buttons to make things do what they're supposed to do. That's a lot of cars in one place we just had there. Quick, screen grab it. I found the thumbnail immediately. Well, we're off to an excellent start. We're going to be like stuck focusing on a random part of the grid. It should, in keeping with true FailRace tradition, we should have the camera pointing at dead last. We didn't. We had camera pointing at second place as we ride on board with Muri. Now, we have got plenty... We've got to ride on board. We are watching from Muri's point of view as we run down towards the first corner. It's actually going to take the lead down here away from a Mitsubishi GTO, something, a Fiesta. There's a lot of cars actually going skating off into the distance. So we've got all sorts of bits of information around to play with this racing we are doing. This is for B-Class V8 cars. Everything here is fitted with a V8 engine. Engine swaps were allowed, so we have cars like this GTO in the mix with the big muscle cars. I mean, that Falcon is tearing away at the front. There's a lot of cars out sideways. Invisible AK in the third place with, looks like the machine going towards the outside down the bottom of the course. Now it's a long, long way around the outside down there. Much wiser, you go for that cutback. You can get on the inside for the second part. There's a very funky sounding car. I'm not quite sure what it is. He couldn't quite get the move done. The GTO did an amazing job of holding that. I think the GTO is going to be in trouble though when we come to this long straight. It's got the quarter grip. Goodbye to the muscle car. That muscle car is going to go soaring off into the distance. Now I've spotted a little Abarth. A 124 with a V8 is going to be very, very light, I would imagine. Probably one of the lighter cars around here as we head down towards the chicane for the first time. It's very busy further back. The Abarth's up the inside, ends up across the grass, trying to avoid. So that is a fair lane. Fair lane, notoriously wibbly wobbly, and not the easiest to get tuned. But the Abarth is up into a fourth place. The pack further back looked pretty mental indeed. It did. There's a gasser involved in all of that. There's a Mercedes. See the gasser? Something sounds really funky, and I can't figure out what it is. There's a very unhelpful, a very weird sounding V8. It kind of sounds like a rotary. As Please Hate Me and Mugen are side by side through the first corner. The Camaro on the outside has got a very good run up the hill, is going to keep hold of the position. No, maybe it's not the gasser. It might be the Ute behind. Oh, the Mercedes is in trouble. Mercedes is very wide. I think it got a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of an assistance potentially from the gasser. End up out that little bit wider line. Everything's going to come soaring past on that as we head down the back head towards the back straight once more. There is definitely a very weird sounding V8 in all of that. If it wasn't a game and I knew cars couldn't have failure, that is one of these cars. It is a funky sounding engine regardless. I mean, I'm quite glad we found this particular little battle to be watching. So Mercedes versus the Ute. This is all over 10th place. The leader is so far gone. You can see on the track map, the leader is absolutely gone in this race. They are miles gone. That Falcon, Jesus, what sound is that? Okay, we found the weird sound. It was the Mercedes. Let's not watch that anymore. I say the leader's long gone. I was incorrect. I was incorrect. The leader must have made a mistake. Certainly they are close together. The Falcon very sideways around the final corner. The AMC is actually now up into the lead. So when the dots are close enough together, they are... yeah, you can't see the car behind. Oh, I'm just looking at the track map. I think somebody's hit the wall. Somebody's hit that tyre bundle in the final corner. It's always a danger. Always a danger that you can get. Oh, it looks like the gas is in the fence. Yeah, that's what will happen. You run wide out the final corner. You clip the tyre bundles. That will grab your car. That's a shame. The gasser was doing well. And gassers are actually pretty good cars. As the horrible sounding Mercedes is now in the middle of this this little group. It looks like 6th place is having some fun times over here. Indeed they are. The big Mercedes 300, the GTO is still holding on. It might be struggling a bit with that straight line speed, but Rabbit's GTO is desperately trying to cling on from a BMW. The fair lane is having a look, trying to make it 3 wide. Looks like Muri has got himself back up to the lead at the front of the race. We should probably have a look at the front of the race if there is Muri can't quite do it. So the Falcon's got good corner speed. The machine has got good straight line speed through all of this. Makes for an interesting challenge around Road Atlanta. Of course, you've got a very long straight. You've got a very, very long back straight. But you have still got to negotiate a lot of these sort of medium speed corners. You want that straight line speed, but equally too much or too little handling, should we say, and you're going to pay the price. You can see how much that second place car is catching. The Falcon catches, I mean, it's right there now. He's there having a look. Can the Ford get to the inside on the run out of the first corner? Problem is, he'll put his car there. He'll draw alongside, and can he get past? No. He's going to get out accelerated up towards the top of the hill. He's going to go around the outside at the top of the hill. That is a brave, brave place to put your car. If anything goes wrong, you end up in the tyre bundles. He's got it done. Well done. That is not an easy place. It's not an easy place to go too wide, even on a more sensible, up the inside overtake. Around the outside there is, one of the tougher overtakes you'll do. Probably the toughest overtake you'll do at Road Atlanta. Maybe the final corner is that little bit tougher, but that is a hell of a pass. Although, the thing is, he's got that move done. He's got the spectacular pass done. Is he going to be far enough away when they get to the back straight? And let's not forget, the more these two are fighting, there is a Fiat. A little 124 is coming to join this battle, and if they keep slowing each other down, then this is going to favour the Fiat. Here comes that machine. That is a lot of straight line speed. All of that hard work by the Falcon is now undone almost as we head down towards the final corner. It's like the Mercedes might have been involved in a shunt. The Mercedes is certainly out. Parked in the run of it. Probably healthier for our ears with whatever was going on with that engine. They've got a bee stuck in the engine. That's broken it. That's what we're going to go with. Either way, in the front, we have another change of leads as Invisible AK would take that, or will take that position. Actually now got a little bit of a gap back to second. So fourth has pulled some gap. It looks like the BMW has got consolidated that fourth position. Oh, we're just in time to see... two of them. GTO's in the fence. Mercedes is in the fence. They've both got going. I think the Mercedes was trying to avoid a spinning GTO and clip the tyre bundle on his own. That was an unfortunate curse of the camera pointing at your car moment. That is very unfortunate for the poor GTO in all of that. We're going to go back to the front. The front is where the action is at. Oh, there's a very sideways Abarth right there. Still, Invisible AK is trying to hold on to that lead. The Abarth is now very, very much in this fight. We've got all of your expected, classic muscle cars, or you've got, the German V8s as well in here, and then there is a Fiat. Muri's got the pass done up the inside onto the long straight. He's going to immediately lose that place again as they head down here. What is the straight line speed like on board with that Abarth? It's not going to, of course, match. It's not going to match that machine. It's the question of, can it catch the Falcon? Yeah, it actually can. So that's the Falcon's struggle, is that it's going to now have the Abarth will the Fiat. It thinks about going to the inside. It can't get there, although the Falcon's wide. Under brakes, the Falcon's very, very wide. The Fiat's very sideways. Gets the pass done. That's a good move. And the Fiat's actually now going to cause a lot of trouble, I think, for that Falcon, because... unlike when racing against, Invisible AK was so close to the fence. Invisible AK was so close to the fence. They've also got to watch out for that BMW. Just see up at the top there, it was showing fastest laps. So Liam is in fourth place with that BMW as a second faster than our leader. Admittedly, he is running in clean air with that BMW, but a second faster. You've got a couple of laps. Might be asking a bit too much. That BMW stuck in a bit too much traffic as we run down the hill once more. There's wiggles from just about everything. Can that machine, can it fend off against the Abarth? Will it be able to keep that position? Now, he's got to stay far enough away when it comes to the braking zones. That's the important bit. You've really got to stay far enough away when it gets to these braking zones that the Abarth can't pounce. As they head on to the back straight, it is a long way around the outside for the Abarth. He isn't going to be able to do it. The back markers are going to keep out of the way of everybody. I think cars hit I think that the hitting the fence on that final corner has spread out the pack with vehicles suffering damage and whatnot. Liam is, as I said, it is catching the BMW, but you can see the gap there. That is not a small gap to try and work through, and you've only got a couple of laps to do it. Further back, 5th place, that will be Mugen with the Camaro. We go see an outside shot. We will indeed. Mugen in 5th. I'd say fairly comfortable. It's kind of consolidated 5th, shall we say. The Fairlane is in 6th. In 7th, we have got a Firebird visiting the gravel trap. That's not what the Firebird wanted in all of that. Does look like it might have hit a tyre bundle. May well be suffering from broken brakes. 8th place, we have got a Holden. Is the Holden going to be close enough to have a look at getting past that Firebird? Might be able to, down towards that first corner. In fact, he has a look. Kind of ducks out of line. Isn't going to be able to get the drive down there, though. I think the Firebird's kind of recovered enough momentum to be far enough ahead. It's getting all very, very tasty by the looks of it down here. 3rd place is now under threat. That Falcon has been caught by the BMW. In fact, at the front, it's a similar case as it was last lap around, with the Abarth trying but not really quite able to get on top of that big muscle car. Is alongside it. He might actually get the lead away briefly. He's actually pushed. I'm kind of surprised he pushed the AMC a little bit wide, but it's just going to be exactly the same thing again. The Abarth will lead onto the straights, and then it'll bugger off. The big AMC will bugger off down towards that chicane and down towards safety. And if it can keep doing that lap after lap, it will be ahead by the time it gets to the start-finish line. When it gets to the end of the race, all it has to be is ahead at that start-finish line. But it is, I mean, that you can see the gap that Abarth has closed up through that final corner there. This is probably, the Abarth's best chance throughout the race. It's got sort of gradually closer and closer as the time's gone on, and it's the Abarth that's pushed it too much. Again, that's the real curse of the commentator. The Abarth was there. The Abarth was pushing like mad. Just a smidge too wide. Clip. The tyre bundle is another one. That tyre bundle has claimed so many cars this race. Oh, that's a shame. It would have been interesting to see what that 1-2-4 could have done on the final lap. It will drop Sheep out of the podium positions with not enough time to do too much about gaining that back up. 5th and 6th might be interesting, with the Fairlane trying to find a way back past the Camaro. Does not look quite like we go. Well, it's not going to be done at that point. Doesn't look like we're going to have much other changes for position. Just scrolling through, there has been a few cars DNF'd out of this one through crash damage. Unfortunately, sometimes that can happen at Road Atlanta with the nastiness of this circuit. Up at the front, Muri still trying to desperately cling on to that 2nd place. The Falcon got a lovely big lead early on. I don't think he made a mistake to drop back, but certainly it just lacks the straight line speed. Very quick around the corners, but is lacking that all-important straight line speed, although the BMW isn't fast enough to make the most of that opportunity. Or is it? It might have a go. It might have a go if he can get it stopped. No, it isn't going to make that one work. It's too tighter a line. Up at the front, and it is going to be Invisible AK that will take victory with the big heavy boat if you don't bin it in the tyre bundle, which he doesn't. Well done for keeping that one out of trouble. 2nd will go to Muri, just fending off that BMW. Sheep very unlucky in 4th with that Abarth. Could have been challenging for the victory, just couldn't quite hold it. On the final corner, the Fairlane has a look, won't make that one stick. Camaro's got the speed. Mugen will get 5th ahead of King Copper in 6th. 7th will be Impega with a rather lonely 7th place. Gish all the way back in 8th with the Holden. Might have had a little bit of an off, actually, to have dropped so far back. We have got... we're going to have a close finish for 9th. Nope, does not... I think it might have been a car... across the line, or something weird went on with somebody around that area. Not quite sure. 10th place would go to a Nissan with a V8. There's some cars. I don't know. There's some cars potentially out of position a little bit. I don't think we're gonna have any more close finishes. It was a bit of a mess further back in all of that. I don't quite know what happened further back, but the battles at the front were pretty pretty damn impressive. Our final race of the B-Class V8 will head to Laguna Seca, and it is a little bit of a slow start for the poor pacer. Got absolutely mugged. Something lagged further back and ended up in the tyre bundle. Got absolutely mugged down towards that first corner by just about everything. I think it is a Holden off towards the lead, although that's coming under immediate fire. Liam's going around the outside with that BMW M3. I think he's going to make, or he was about to make that one stick until he ended up with a wheel on the grass, although he's got to the inside. Oh, got to the inside of one, and a GTX has gone through the inside of him, and will fall back to second. Transit's on the move. Transit takes a big dive bomb. Well stopped from the Transit right there to have pulled that one up in time. As we head up towards the top of the hill, BMW's got the acceleration though to bring it back and get the pass completed once more, as we have got, I don't actually see what muscle car it was, has got up into, it looks like a Mercury of some description, has got the pass done. I'm just playing around with some buttons, sorry, I've got excited. I will turn that off, just it obscures too much of the view. The Transit's trying desperately to hold on to that 5th place. I think there's a Falcon going around the long way, possibly. There's a Holden, sorry. He's around the outside of the Transit. They still go side by side. A little bit of a nudge between the pair of them to the final turn. That Holden will get to the inside, will get it stopped. Oh, there's a wheel on the sand on the exit. I think still just about going to get that power down. Is it going to be able to run clear of the Transit? His mighty Ford has got a lot of speed, but there's not necessarily too many places to use it as we head towards the first corner. He's going to have to go the long way round. The Transit's not going to make that one work. Cut back to the inside. The Holden might lose a place too. This is a very unusual Ford versus Holden battle. The Holden's across the sand, but he's still not given up on that position. Still going to try and cling on. Will just fend off the Transit. They rub doors again. It's all getting very busy up at the front as well. The GTX leading the way is starting to have some company from not just our vehicle. It's not actually the Mercury, sorry, it's the Valiant Charger in second place. Then we've got the BMW in third. Sorry, from sort of a quick glance, the front of the Valiant does kind of remind, it's got a sort of nose bit, kind of reminds me of the Mercury. It's got a good run. Got a good run up towards the corkscrew. It's a tough overtaking spot down here, especially as the GTX defends the inside line. The Valiant happy to sort of sit and wait. It's not going to make it work through there. The BMW is not quite up there, is it? I mean, it's certainly in range to profit if anything should go wrong, which it has for both of them, but not quite majorly. Transit still holds on to 5th. Now, if they fight each other too much, they may well have some company from other vehicles. Towards the final turn we go once more for the, well, head on towards the end of the second lap. So, who's got the straight line speed? Is it the GTX? Is it the Valiant? As we head down towards the first corner is a good overtaking spot down here, and it is indeed that Valiant Charger with the straight line speed. He's going to have to go the long way around. Invisible AK parks the car on the inside. Do they both get it stopped? They do very, very nicely. Invisible AK across the curve, gets bounced out a little bit wide. The Charger's just not got the grip to make that move, to make a move stick around the outside. The Charger has not got the grip. It's a little bit of a nudge from the Charger. You might have managed to get the door slightly ajar. It's not going to be enough. He's staring at a nice close-up at the back of the GTX. Now he's out a little wide on the exit. They've got to be wary, that BMW. In fact, the BMW is actually struggling a little bit for pace around here. Even they're fighting. That BMW is not right up behind them as I was expecting it to be. As still Impega is looking for a way back, or looking for a way past. It's just not quite going to happen. At the top of the hill, it's too far back. Maybe the corkscrew. There's no mistakes from AK on the exit of that turn. It's going to be a similar story to last lap round, I think. Unless you can be mega brave and get a really good run around the outside, it's going to be a case of follow the leader down here and wait until potentially the final corner. We should have a little look further back. Miri holds on to 5th with the Transit as nobody pays any attention to the corkscrew whatsoever. The Gasser, that's in 10th place, being pursued by, I think it's a GT, is it GT350? It might be a normal Mustang. Just the blue makes me immediately think GT350R. I actually don't think the GT, that's way too high to be in B class, so ignore me. I'm talking nonsense. The Mustang is going to... No, I'm surprised, actually. I was half expecting it to have a dive up the inside. It is not close enough to do so. Oh, something's gone... Typical, as I go have a look around... Oh, okay, it's just wonky... As I say, something went on because the BMW was suddenly leading the way, but it was just a wonky reading from the change car thing. So Impega now leads in that Valiant Charger. I'd imagine a good run out the final corner, just out-drag the GTX, that's the car, down towards the first corner, and that will put Impega up into the lead. He's got to defend a little bit. Third place is potentially... third place has just changed... No, it hasn't changed hands. It's been, the game's being a little bit funky. The BMW and the Holden are fighting viciously over that one. Holden ran out of road on the outside. Is not quite going to be close enough. Are we going to see the GTX have a dive? Are we going to see the GTX have a go? I think he's going to be too far back. He was very close off the top of the hill, but he's going to be too far back by the time we get to the corkscrew. The Valiant Charger doesn't go mega defensive through all that. Of course, if you start going mega defensive, you lose an awful lot of time. And here the GTX is trying to have a look. Now, if he can get it up the inside just enough, he might be able to. That's a good attempt from the GTX. He can get it up alongside. You might be able to compromise the Valiant Charger's exit just a little bit. It's very close to sparks fly between the two cars. In the end, though, the Charger's going to have the acceleration. It's going to have that straight line speed down the start-finish straight to just pull clear by the time they get to turn one. The BMW's having all sorts of company. It looks like the Abartha's got himself up into fifth. It's been all change back here. Ninetails with the Gasser still fending off one. He's now got two Mustangs for company. The Transit has dropped back through the field. It is Mugen versus Hyper, I think, coming up over the crest. The Mustang Boss to the inside has not quite got that door open properly as they get connected. Couldn't get the Mustang Boss stopped in time. Little tap on the rear of the GT sends them both a bit wide, and it's going to put a dampener on Mugen's chase of the big old Gasser. The Transit is in the very much thick of the action down here. This is the lower echelons of the top 10. We're kind of fighting. Oh, there's a boss. The boss gets caught on the front of the... You don't want to get caught on the front of a Transit. You do not want to get caught on the front of a Transit. There's a big Mercedes involved in all of this, trying to go around the outside of everybody. It might get the boss. It does clear the Mustang. It's now got to try and find a way past a Transit. It's no easy feat. I mean, neither of them are particularly small cars. Oh, Mercedes is off on the sand, gets a wiggle just about, keeps control of that one as they head up towards the corkscrew. It's the boss's turn to have a look around the outside. Nope, not going to make that one. In fact, the boss locked everything up in terms of the brakes, could not get stopped whatsoever around there, and yeah, would slide through. V8 swapped MX-5 is up in 6th place. So, while all of that mayhem was going on, at the front, Impega continues to lead. The Valiant Charger not got a massive gap, not got a tremendous gap at the moment. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure the GTX has got it's not got the speed in the right places to fight back against the Valiant. Third place, that may well change hands. The BMW for now is still doing an excellent job of defending from that Holden. It is a case of how long can you defend for. A tiny mistake from that BMW will unleash the Holden. Once he can get into clean air, I think the Holden is the slightly faster car here. But the BMW is putting the vehicle absolutely where it needs to be. Lap after lap. It's not making a mistake. Again, it's covering the inside. And the Holden's just not quick enough to get a pass done around the outside. This, though, might be trouble for the M3. No, he's still got enough speed. Every place the Holden needs to be just a fraction stronger to get to the inside somewhere. BMW is doing an excellent job of keeping the car where it needs to be. The corkscrew, the Holden's too far back, not going to have a go at the inside. The BMW doesn't defend unnecessarily through all of that. And that's perhaps one of the most important things when you are defending in a situation like this, when the car behind is a bit better around a given circuit. Don't defend unnecessarily. You lose a lot of time if you are doing such. Again, the BMW knows that Holden's not going to be able to get past on the way into there, so doesn't cover that inside line. Now, to the final corner, you're going to need to defend. That Holden's going to go for the outside as they break down towards that last corner. Lovely glowing brake rotors from both of the cars, but the Holden's not fast enough, and it still can't find a way past as we head on to the final lap here. The BMW is doing an excellent job, and it's just quick enough down the straight to be out of range. Of course, turn one, probably one of your best overtaking spots. It's a bit of a lock-up from the BMW. He's a tad wide. He's lucky he's far enough away there, because the Holden, as typical as I sing the praises, the BMW makes perhaps the first mistake of the race. The Holden's looking around the outside through these next couple of corners, but it's going to be around the outside of 2 corners. I'm pretty sure that was a Holden visiting the grass back there, visiting the sand we had going on. Where is that Holden? How much time did it lose? It's still right in there. I'm not sure it's going to have another opportunity. It was a golden opportunity. It was just a tad bit too far back to really make that one work. He's again trying to go around the outside of the same corner where there's just not the space. It's just not the space to get the pass completed. Up at the front, we are on to the final lap. It is flowing by. Another very exciting race. Up at the front, Impega still leads with that Valiant Charger. Visual AK second with the GTX. Is he going to be able to find a way past on this final lap? He's going to draw alongside, but it'll be the outside for this next turn. Now, if you can hold it here, you get the inside for the final turn. He does hold it all the way around the outside. That is a lovely pass to the inside for the final turn. Can he hold it on the acceleration? It will be a drag race. It is between the Valiant Charger, the GTX. We know the Valiant Charger is faster of the two. Does he have enough time to catch? He doesn't. It will be Invisible AK that takes the victory from Impega. That was a brilliant move around the outside. The BMW will round out the podium from Please Don't Eat Me. I think further back, the Gasser may well have passed the MX-5. It did to get a 6th place. That was an absolutely lovely overtake around the outside of the penultimate corner to the inside of the final turn, and with enough acceleration in hand to outdrag the Valiant. Further back, the Transit, that would end up in 9th, held off the Mercedes ahead of the Mustang Boss. The Ute would come home in 12th ahead of the GTO, I think it was. Further back, we have a Firebird Trans Am coming home in a 16th place. And the Pacer was not enjoying life around this circuit. The Pacer did not enjoy life around this particular circuit. That was a hell of a final lap overtake. I mean, well done to Invisible AK for getting that one. Yeah, some good pairs going on at the front of the race. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different style of commentary. Let me know in the comments if you did. Until next time, though, a goodbye.